Today is the day you must let go of feeling stuck in unhealed grief and your fear of being judged when you unexpectedly attract love after loss. That's what we'll be talking about today in Reconnect. I'm Diana Palm. I'm the medium helping you heal from your grief, from heartbreak and loss. And I've been through this myself. I've been helping the bereaved for over 30 years. So thank you for joining me today. One of the ways I do this within my program is helping people connect with their loved ones in the afterlife. I also help them move through the grief process and all the very different layered emotional and spiritual things that need to happen in order to heal their grief. So today, as we talk about this topic, there are many reasons why getting stuck in unhealed grief can actually sabotage you from living a really happy life and a meaningful life after you've experienced loss. I'm going to be talking about the top 3 reasons and what you can do about that. Sabotaging yourself from new love is a very crippling commonplace with the bereaved. And this is because your heart has already been broken. And the thought of opening that wound up and taking the risk to love somebody new, it's very scary and it doesn't feel possible at times. And what if you fall into love and you get your heart broken, or you're rejected, or you don't get to experience a long-term relationship with a new person? So I like to talk to people about this because without taking that risk, without moving into love, you actually stay living in your past, kind of clinging to the person that you once loved who is no longer here. But I do like to remind you that they are here. Your loved one in the afterlife is very much still a part of your life. In fact, they help you from the other side to find new love. I want you to think about your loved ones in basically all relationships you've had. They're part of your love journey. They all contribute to your expansion in your heart. They teach you what relationship is, and they all provide different aspects of love for you so that you're always constantly growing and evolving within relationship. So when you have had the opportunity to love somebody and they pass, your story is not over, but it doesn't have to prevent you from moving forward. Your loved one in the afterlife actually stays with you and helps you as your biggest cheerleader from the afterlife, from the sidelines, and they really help you to meet new people. They want to see you continue to love. They want to see you thrive in a very love-filled life. So they don't leave you. They never feel like they want to hold you back from this experience. They encourage you to fill your heart with more and more love. There's no competition. There's no sacrifice. There's no need to hold space for somebody who's no longer here in the physical, because like I said, they're in the afterlife and they're encouraging you and supporting you forward. When we prevent ourselves from being able to open our heart and love somebody else, much of us is actually living in the past to a time when we felt loved. And while that may seem safe, it doesn't actually allow us to fully embrace us being alive. And the very nature of being alive is to love. So what I encourage my clients to do is not hold space, continue loving your loved one in the afterlife, but create more space to love somebody new and to take new chances in love. This whole experience actually grows your heart. I call it creating space for love, because you're creating more and more space. When you know you can love more than one person, when you can appreciate the life that you've already lived with somebody and still yet be open and available for the new love, this actually grows your heart space. This really creates more and more love in your inner being and in your spiritual energy and in your life. So it's not a matter of pulling your love from one person onto the next. It's more and more and more love. and they're all part of your journey through love. Um, okay, there are no guarantees in love. So if your heart has already been broken, then why not take that chance to love somebody new and let it beat with new love? I like to encourage people to do that because you've already reached heartbreak. So what would it cost you to actually just decide to love more, just decide to love again? You know, when you start at the bottom of heartbreak, it's always rebuilding, and it's inclusive, and it's growth, and it allows you to feel alive again. So of course, there's no specific time. Everyone takes their own time to move through the grief process until to feel ready for love, to invite new love into their life. I always tell people that when you love yourself enough to heal your unhealed grief, that's when you know you're ready to accept new love into your life and to attract somebody new. So don't avoid relationships. Don't live in the past. And don't stay stuck. Take that risk to embrace your future and live in the current moment. If love shows up for you, embrace it and lean into it and allow yourself to feel those feelings again. That's a beautiful way for you to actually embrace that you're still alive, that you're still here, that you're willing to thrive and continue living, and that you appreciate the love you've learned from your one that passed, that's in the spirit world, and that you've taken these lessons forward, you've incorporated them, you've let them grow your soul, and now you're willing to invite new love into your life. We don't have to put a stop to love. We can continue loving and continue to invite more and more people into our life to love. Okay, I would like to share, I did experience this myself when I lost somebody very, very close to me. My heart actually ached, and I didn't know how I was going to continue living without this person. And I know that's where a lot of you find yourselves right now if you're grieving. So I want to encourage you through this experience, and that's why this work is so important to me, because as I moved through it, I was actually learning through all my spiritual abilities how to shift that energy within myself. And I learned a lot from the other side. I learned a lot from my mediumship abilities. I learned how to apply that to myself, and I want to help you do the same. Okay, reason number 2 is that many survivors fear that their family and friends will judge them for moving on with a new person. And this is actually a big fear. When you lose a loved one, everything in your life changes. The people that you've been surrounded with, your family and your friends, they long to see you come back to them as the person that they once knew. And this helps them feel safe. As soon as they can see you pulling out of the grief and they see you acting like they're familiar with, that makes them feel like you're going to make it, and they don't worry about you not making it through this experience. So it's out of love that they seek to have the old version of you return. But the old version of you no longer exists, because moving through the grief process, moving through a very close loss and heartbreak, when you heal that grief, you actually reveal a newer version of you, someone you haven't been before. And your loved ones that hold in place who you used to be, and they're longing to see that person come back to them, you're not going to. You're going to be new. You're going to be a different version of you. And it's important that you don't try to please them by coming back to them as you were. Remember, your life is forever changed by moving through the grief experience. You will grow, and some parts of you will feel like they're dying, but other parts of you will become alive. You will birth a new version of you as you move through this experience. So it's important to know that your loved ones, they may not have experienced a loss like you have, and they don't mean to restrict you or hold you in grief. It's just for their own comfort and their own well-being that they believe you'll be okay when they see you return the old way. So just be forgiving of them and do what's right for you, because you're the one that this experience is for. You're the one that's growing through this experience. This is a deeply personal experience and you matter. So however you move through this, make sure that you're not worrying about the judgment of others as you come out the other side. Okay, I also want to ask you that if you find yourself worrying a lot about what other people's judgments are on you for moving into new love, ask yourself if you're willing to let other people's judgments keep you in a state of suffering and loneliness, or if you would rather embrace your new life with appreciation for the breath you have every single day, for the opportunities that you have every single day, because that is the most vital part of still being here on the physical plane, is knowing you're alive, being able to make new decisions, being able to express yourself differently in the world, and being able to move forward. It doesn't matter if friends don't realize what you've been going through. Like I said, they may not have experienced the same kind of loss that you have. Grief is a sacred time of transition, because as you move through this experience, different parts of yourself are revealed. You'll realize how much inner strength you have. You may release a lot of things that you thought about yourself. You may start to live a whole new lifestyle. You may feel inclined to do things you've never done before. And that's what I mean by this transition. As you transition through this process, it reveals different aspects of you. It allows you to become more fully who you've always meant to be. And your loved one in the afterlife, they're so happy for you to do this, because they got to carve out and share a specific part of your journey with you. And they free you to have this experience. They free you to grow. So don't be afraid of that, living life to the fullest every day. Okay. The third thing that I would like to share with you is that the bereaved often feel guilty if they love somebody new, because they feel that it may take away from the love that they have for the one that passed. And I want to let you know that that is absolutely not true. You have no reason to feel guilty for loving somebody new. There, like I said, there's more and more love. Your loved one in the afterlife stays with you. They will probably actually put somebody new onto your path to love. So the feeling of guilt, it just feels like that's based on limits. Like I only have so much love to give, or I have to hold space for somebody for a long time in order to prove my love. Sometimes it feels like you're being unfaithful if you move on too quickly. But if your loved one has left the physical plane, they've created space in your life for you to invite new love. And you should always allow yourself to be nurtured and cared for. So feeling guilty kind of keeps you living in the past. It also makes you feel very conflicted about loving somebody new or creating enough space for them. Sometimes I've seen the bereaved actually try to incorporate a new person into their life where they keep everything else the same and expect this new person to fill it. Now, if you're doing that, you're not ready for a new person to love, because you're just trying to replace the person that left by keeping everything in place. That's why moving through this journey, that we call it through grief, it creates new aspects of your life, new opportunities, new lifestyles and choices, and all kinds of new things. You may actually attract all new friends. You may feel like you want to pull away from your family for a while, or maybe drawn to different people in your family that may have understood this significant journey that you're going through. Maybe they've lost people too. But it's really important to allow things to be shaken up. Most people fear this part so much, the shakeup. But when you replace a new person with the one that left, you're not actually making yourself available to fully love them. You're not creating a real authentic space for both of for you to come together with the new person and to create a new space together. And that's what I mean by allowing yourself to kind of come into this with more of an open heart, more space, and to be really present when you're ready for that. That when you do love somebody new, many things in your life will change, and that's good. That's part of your journey. I know that can be scary, but it is part of your journey. Okay, so when I speak with our loved ones in the afterlife, they understand why we do this, why the living holds space for them. And many times what I see is the bereaved will hold so much space for their loved one that passed that they don't allow themselves to truly love another person. This is often coming from the individual who identifies with one time in their life that they were loved, and they place it all upon this person that has left, that has died. And what that does is it's like an inner programming or an inner feeling like they'll never attract love again. They had it. They already had their one person. But this planet is populated with people who are willing to love you and see you and appreciate you and have joy with you and laugh with you and do activities with you and build futures with you. So you're not here alone. You don't just have one person. Some people are so afraid that if they love a soulmate and their soulmate dies, that they'll never find another soulmate. But it's just not true. You have so many soulmates. So allowing yourself to be open to what comes next really helps you invite in that new breath into your life. It really pulls you forward, and it allows you to free yourself from feeling stuck in grief. Okay, so I just want to make sure I covered all my notes here. Yes, and also this. Loving somebody new is one of the most life-affirming things that you can actually do for yourself. So, of course, it does start with yourself by choosing to heal your unhealed grief and being open-minded enough to create that space for new love. And then as you move through your life, allowing yourself to have these experiences again, allowing yourself to go to that vulnerable space and that open-hearted space where you can truly be loved and where you can be available to love somebody else. Love really is the healer of grief, because grief is unexpressed love. So the more unhealed grief you have, it's like all this love stuck inside of you that doesn't get to be expressed. So when you invite love into your life and you have somebody to give that love to, that also helps heal your soul. It helps you to release the energy of pent-up grief because you're expressing it out. You're expressing your love that's had nowhere to go. It's been cut off from the source of who you used to give it to. So remembering that is that unexpressed love is grief. The more you can love, the more relief you'll get from the grief you've been holding inside your body. So, yeah, don't worry about being judged. Go ahead and be able to move forward with love, no matter what that timeline looks like for you. Okay, you guys, so if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Next week, we're going to be talking about changing your perspective about the dearly departed. Are they a sinner or are they a saint? I want to help you find balance with your perspective about the deceased so that you can love them authentically instead of in one of those two categories. I'm going to be coming here live every single Wednesday at this time so that I can connect with you guys. I want to answer your questions, so please put them in the comments email me, whatever you want to do. Get your questions to me so that I can address them when I'm going live in this broadcast. I have lots of um, links on this video to help you. If you haven't done my free grief assessment, be sure that you hit that link. You can actually download that and go through the grief assessment and kind of see how you're doing with your grief. See how it's showing up in your life. You may be surprised at many ways that we actually store grief within our life and within our body. So I'll take you through that. It's like a questionnaire that you go through and you can kind of check the boxes. It'll just help you navigate for yourself if you're still living with unhealed grief. So that link, it's in my video, above the video or below the video, depending on where you're seeing this. I also have links for my grief healing program. So if you think that you might be interested in getting more information about a specialized program to help you heal your grief and rebuild your life into who you're becoming, be sure that you set up a discovery call with me. The discovery call is completely free. We'll just talk for a few minutes and see if you're a good fit for this program. Okay, you guys, well, I thank you so much for watching. If you learned something new here today, if you found this information valuable, please share this with your own peers. Share it on your wall or wherever you're finding this on social media. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you next week so we can reconnect. Thank you.